squeeze in them jeans, make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you see, make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between, make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze in them jeans, make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you see, make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between, make it make sense.
Okay, what's up, everybody? It has been a while since we have done a book reading. You guys wanted me to read this. I went and got this. Trust me, it was not easy. Lisa Rinna sent it to me. But we are here now. We're gonna I see why the Hiltons did not want this stuff getting out. It feels like this man, Jerry Oppenheimer, went around to everybody who did not like them and got got dirt on them. Cousins, relatives, other rich people. It does not feel like the Hiltons were liked. So we are definitely y'all, it's okay. So the way I'm going to be doing this is probably going to be a couple chapters at a time. I don't know that it'll always be live because there's going to be it's longer than Portia's book. Let's just say that. It's longer than Portia's book. So some of these might be pre-recorded. I already know there's some people who are going to be reading it with me. Jolene, Really B. Let me go ahead and get a little sip of this first. Y'all know usually I like a cocktail, but yeah, this is a lot. Thank you guys for being here. I'm sorry I was a little bit late, but without further ado, we're gonna read the epilogue first, because it gives us a little taste of like behind the scenes. It's been a minute, but I'm here. I'm so happy that you guys are here with me. Oh, Kathy is gonna hate me. Our friendship is about to be over. No coloring pages. No coloring pages. There she is, standing tall beside the man. From her foreign stilettos to her black thigh-high stockings, the black garter belt, and the itsy-bitsy teeny-weeny Fredericks of Hollywood-style leopard skin print bikini barely covering her, to the matching leopard skin print push-up bra. To the sheer fingerless gloves with the red nails of her right hand perfectly perched on her well-trained arch tip, with her belly button tantalizingly beaming front and center. Here is Paris Hilton, posing for the gazillionth time in all of her exhibitionist glory. As usual, the super vixen great-granddaughter of the late hotel magnate Conrad Hilton is pouting, preening, and letting it all hang out. Not for a video camera recording or a sex romp with a boy, but rather a swarm of photographers, including a female shooter for the usually staid New York Times, whose caption in the Sunday Style section a week later declared double exposure. In just a finger snap, interest in Paris Hilton had veered from inquiring minds want to know to supermarket tabloid rabble to all the news that fits to print Upper East Side set. And the man with whom Paris is cuddling, Hef. There she is at the Playboy Mansion, the same place her maternal grandmother once partied and where Paris' mother's Kathy was a regular in the late 70s. Now, why was Kathy at... Kyle had said that she was at Studio 54 when she was like 10 or 11. So Kathy was in Hef's Playboy Mansion, where Paris's Hollywood playboy paternal uncle Nick Hilton went in the late 50s to get some bunny tail early in the second marriage after Elizabeth Taylor. Following in her forebear's party-hardy footsteps, Paris too is a frequent follower at the mansion. In April 2006, she is a very special guest. For Hugh Hefner is celebrating his 80th birthday, and Paris is there to sing happy birthday to him. On the eve of the launch of her latest incarnation as a recording artist. Y'all remember when Paris became a recording artist? Through the latter part of 2005, Paris had been laying down tracks for her first CD, which she was supremely confident would go platinum overnight. As her producer, an occasional date who reportedly gifted her with a Bentley, Scott Storch. Now, y'all know Bentley's is just what he gave out. He also gave Lil' Kim a Bentley. So allegedly he wasn't dating Paris, and allegedly he wasn't dating Kim Kardashian. Scott Storch, a 32-year-old music veteran with a slew of rapper hits, predicted in early 2006 Paris' album was going to take everyone by surprise, but he fudged on whether Paris could actually sing. If people are given the right circumstances and the right track and the right melody, it's about the conviction. So in other words, she can't sing. Y'all, I can't make this up. It's like Countess Luann. By mid-year, though, he seemed to have soured on Paris's managers, claiming that they smacked me in the face and disrespected me because one of his tunes reportedly wasn't chosen as the first single from her CD. Paris, meanwhile, gave her music 2 thumbs up. I like Cry when I listen to it. It's so good. So y'all know how I do. I can't just read you the books without letting you know exactly what's up. So this is what they're talking about.
You're 80, but you act like you're 20. You look like you're 40. You're hot. To you, to you. I love you, Hef. You're amazing. You're 80, but you act like you're 20. You look like you're 40. You're hot. Love you. Happy birthday.
Y'all know I have to give you a little extra. Even if she couldn't sing a note, her infamy catapulted her onto the chart. It had with every other of her many endeavors. This girl was an earner, no question. When Paris sees the cameras aimed at Hef, she hustles over there to have her picture taken with him. She can never get enough of getting her picture taken, and he naturally pulls her close against him. 20-something girls and younger were always Hef's thing. Y'all, this is gross. Like, this is gross. But, you know, seeing the media closing in, Paris exclaims for all to hear, "Wow, Hef, this party is hot." Hef glances at Paris like he glanced at thousands of bimbos over the years, and in his courtly manner responds with the Playboy line, "Now it is, you're here." At the stroke of midnight, when Hef officially turns 80, Paris grabs a mic, and with still and video cameras trained on her, she makes a feeble attempt to sing the birthday song, performing a gawky imitation of Marilyn Monroe's famous sultry rendition, purred to President Kennedy in Madison Square Garden in 1962. Concluding her weird performance, in which she appears to have forgotten the birthday boy's name for a moment, Paris exclaims, "I love you. Hef, you're amazing." Shapely 16-year-old. Lana Turner was licking an ice cream cone in a soda fountain across from high school when she was discovered by the publisher of The Hollywood Reporter. Ava Gardner was spotted at 18 by MGM Grand errand clerk who was knocked out by her picture in the window of her brother-in-law's New York City photography studio. 21-year-old Paris's chance came after she and Rick Solomon, a well-endowed boyfriend a dozen years her senior, and the estranged husband of Shannon Doherty, performed sex acts in May of 2001 in front of a video camera. By the summer of 2002, the sleazy 27-minute homemade video had been procured by an adult film distributor, and 4 minutes of the grainy video landed on the internet and was seen, downloaded, and either joked about or played with yourself around the world. With the click of a mouse, Paris had become internationally famous and infamous, practically overnight. One night in Paris had outsold the video of Gone with the Wind. Paris' parents went ballistic, so it appeared. The Hilton family is greatly saddened at how low human beings will stoop to exploit their daughter Paris, who is a sweet nurtured for their own self-promotion as well as profit motives. According to a prepared statement, Paris is working very hard on her career. The release of a private tape between a younger girl and an older boyfriend is more than upsetting. Anyone in any way involved in this video is guilty of criminal activity and will be vigorously prosecuted. There were lawsuits and counter lawsuits, and in the end, Paris reportedly got mid-six-figure piece of video's financial action. Mid-six figures? I think Kim Kardashian got like 4 million. They lowballed her. But I did see the tape, and she literally stopped doing what they were doing to take a phone call. So, Kim was a little bit more invested in the video. Oh, in July 2006, Paris actually contradicted the supposed anger her parents had about the video. She told Britain's upscale Guardian newspaper that she wasn't afraid of Kathy and Rick's response to her X-rated starring role, acknowledged that my mom heard about it being released before I did, and suggested they were supportive of her. So, no, I think Kim got like 4 million, Andrea. But the fact that she is contradicted, they're releasing statements and Paris is saying her parents are proud. Well, they know I didn't do anything wrong. It's something everybody does. So everybody makes sex tapes. I think Kim Kardashian's sister Courtney said the same thing. Everybody has them. But it doesn't happen to everyone that a person actually shows it to other people. And she hadn't softened about her co-star calling him a pig. He's disgusting. I really loved him and I was a stupid little girl. So I've learned a lot from my mistakes. One of those lessons she noted was don't ever trust anyone again like that. Move on and just forget about it. The publicity growing out of the titillating video was a monetary boom for Paris. Suddenly, she possessed an aggressive management team that included number crunchers, marketing experts, branding geniuses, shrewd New York literary agents, cutthroat Hollywood film and TV talent agents, a high-priced lawyer negotiating a portfolio of lucrative deals for her. Her savvy suits got her major product endorsements, including a 2005 Too Graphic and Too Hot for TV spot, showing her in a skin-tight swimsuit, soaping up a Bentley and crawling all over before taking a big bite out of a juicy Carl's Jr. spicy burgers. Now, I remember that. I didn't know what Carl's Jr.'s was until Paris Hilton. So it worked. What's up, Nana? Y'all, this is a celebrity. This is Jolene's mom. This is Nana. So y'all be nice to Nana. Everybody say hey to Nana. She also likes a bit of mess. And back in her day, if you watch her channel with Jolene, she tells some stories. Nana has seen some things. However, the spot was pulled. I think Paris got like $1 million for that Carl's Jr. commercial, and it didn't even run, but it got them the publicity that they wanted. Her marketing geniuses and agent provocateurs secured for her a hugely successful jewelry line on Amazon, as well as bankable fragrance and makeup products. I'm not gonna lie, I knew a lot of people with the Paris Hilton perfume. Then there was a nightclub chain. The first Club Paris opened in a beautiful downtown Orlando, Florida, the home of Disney World. The nice spot seemed to appeal to the town's tourist trade and simple life blue-collar locals, although it featured a decadent VIP section that included a cozy boudoir area perfect for intimate encounters. But there were also well-advertised specials. Y'all listen to this. The $3 Corona beers, the $5 Jaeger bombs, and sometimes special virgin drinks for the 13 to 17-year-old set. She marketed her nightclub to 13-year-olds. The girl with the tape. In April 2006, Paris's club promoted a 3-day schools out party. Princess Paris knows how hard you've been studying and thinks you're definitely worth an A+. We don't know where she graduated or if she graduated, but okay. Since you're on Paris's honor roll, you will be rewarded for being such a good student. Paris, however, never made an honor roll, bounced from school to school, and as one Hilton family insider notes, was lucky to get out of high school. Nevertheless, Paris hit the New York Times bestseller list with Confessions of an Heiress, and even her dog Tinkerbell got a book deal, The Tinkerbell Diaries. A third book with Paris's name on it, The Heiress Diary, Confess It All to Me, for young Britneys, Jennifers, and Megans to write in their innermost thoughts was a rare dud. Confessions, according to a member of Paris's team, was conceived to counter the negativity from parents regarding Paris's tape, plus the sales for doing nothing but allowing her name and a face to appear in a jacket. With the book, we wanted the world to think of her as a role model for young girls. Y'all, I feel like I'm reading Portia's book again. Like I'm losing brain cells as we go along. Whew. Uh, Paris also became the co-star of a much criticized but hit Fox TV and later E! Entertainment television reality series, The Simple Life, which I watched. Not Mace still has the lotion. I'm done. Mace, don't tell nobody else that. Um, was based on a sitcom from the 70s called Green Acres that starred Eva Gabor, sister of Paris's great-grandfather's second wife, Zsa Zsa Gabor, which is also Andrew Gabor's third cousin, once removed. A tabloid feud between Paris and her co-star childhood friend Nicole Richie helped the ratings and secured Richie, an admitted former drug user, a book deal and appearances on the talk show circuit. Meanwhile, Paris's mother, Kathy, parlayed her daughter's success into a reality show of her own, NBC's I Want to Be a Hilton, which received poor reviews. The Hollywood Reporter's online critic observed, when I was a kid, people wanted to be Oscar Mayer Wiener. Now they want to be a Hilton, or so we're told. Not that the two are very different, actually. This dude is a smart writer. He's really quick. You don't want to know what's really inside either one, and both tend to hide behind their buns. I Want to Be a Hilton supplies further evidence of the decline and fall of Western civilization. The National Review took note of the raw avarice displayed. You'd need a strong stomach for vulgarity to be able to stand all of this for more than a few minutes. Variety called Kathy Hilton's show smirky. Nevertheless, Kathy was chutzpah behind much of Paris's success, pushing her relentlessly into the celebrity spotlight. Along with Paris, consulted with her father on all their business deals. As a family insider asserts, they are proud of everything that she does, even the video. Paris's grandfather, Baron Hilton, Rick's father, had taken to telling colleagues, good for her. She's the only one in the family making so much money, which is true. If Paris had not done what she did, she probably would still be rich and she'd be inheriting a lot, or she'd be inheriting a good percentage of Rick's fortune. But Paris is worth $300 million on her own, and her grandfather left all the money to his charity. So the kids really didn't get much of anything. So she was smart-ish. With TV on her exploding resume, Paris began making films, severely panned films, but films nonetheless, aimed at her prime demographic, pubescent teens. A director with a sense of irony in India even considered casting her in the role of Mother Teresa in a biopic of the beloved saint. Paris Hilton as Mother Teresa. Okay, I'll continue. For Paris's part in 2005, her feature film House of Wax, she even won an award, a Razzie, for Worst Supporting Actress. Critics gloatingly took after her. Nevertheless, Paris began to consider herself a movie star and showed up at the 25th annual Sundance Film Festival, infuriating its founder, Robert Redford, who suggested that celebrities like Paris were giving the event a bad name. To the outside world, it's a big fat market where you have people like Paris Hilton going to parties. Now she doesn't have to do anything to do anything. I think the festival is too close to being out of control. With all of it, the cash started rolling in. In 2005 alone, Paris banked as much as $20 million through her corporate entity, Paris Hilton Entertainment, all for just being famous for being famous. Like her hotel magnate grandfather, a visionary who turned a fleabag hotel in a dirtbag Texas town into an international empire, Paris had the Midas touch, putting her mark on every conceivable kind of merchandise. In July 2004, the U.S. Commissioner of Trademarks received from Paris Hollywood lawyers a drawing of a tiara with the fancy letter P on the crown, which she wanted as her trademark. Let me get a sip of water. I'm going to leave you guys really quick with a Paris Hilton commercial.
You're 80, but you act like you're 20. You look like you're 40. You're hot. To you, to you. I love you, Hef. You're amazing. You're 80, but you act like you're 20. You look like you're 40. You're hot. Love you. Happy birthday.
Okay, Paris also hoped to trademark her most uttered two words, "that's hot," as exclusively her own. By spring, though, she announced on a TV talk show that she had dropped "that's hot" in favor for "that's sexy." Groundbreaking. Paris was no longer being viewed as a party girl who had no interest in the family's hotel business. It was clear that this Hilton was a party girl with blind ambition and naked greed. She had become big time, generating as much as $200,000 to appear at a party or a charity event for just a few moments. And if she had yen to fly to Japan to attend a bash, she'd get even more. In Vienna, she is said to have received 1 million to make a showing. All I had to do, boasted Paris, was wave like this. She did an imitation of Queen Elizabeth, greeting her populace. She had become Paris Inc. Her amazing success even helped the bottom line of the Hilton Corporation. When her name became a household word, the hotel saw more than a 30% spike, which made Baron Hilton quite happy, says a close associate. Barron's horrified by all of Paris's vice and her shenanigans, but says it's good publicity for the company. She's getting the Hilton name out there. So her grandfather was fine with everything that she was doing as long as it helped the bottom line. Paris was great in House of Wax. Oh, her fame and infamy knew no bounds. She was named one of the 10 most fascinating people of 2004 in a Barbara Walters TV special that drew an audience of 16 million. She was honored as one of Rolling Stone's top 10 celebrities that year. The magazine observed, "We have no idea where this girl is going, but we have the strangest feeling we're all going to go there with her." At the same time, Paris became the target of ongoing intense criticism as her fame skyrocketed. Andy Warhol's colleague, the writer Bob Colasella, ventured, "If she is the ultimate idol of civilization that worships celebrity in it and of itself, no matter how attained, then bring on the barbarians." Across the pond, where she had become a boldface named the British actor Stephen Fry denounced Paris for having a huge amount of greed and desire. Evidently, nobody liked this girl. Meanwhile, Paris seemed on the brink of reinvention. She claimed that her video and party girl shenanigans aside, she wasn't really a SLUT as the media portrayed her. "I'm not a sexual person," she maintained. "I really don't care about sex." She declared she was seeking responsibility and credibility by becoming a mother and having 3 kids. 2022, Paris has no children. Subsequently, Paris announced she wanted to model her life on another publicity mad, egomaniacal empire builder and TV reality show star Donald Trump, whose modeling agency gave her one of her first catwalk gigs. Paris was called the Donald Trump of the younger generation. And a friend of Paris's parents, he said he respect her chutzpah and money-making abilities. Oh, wait, so you know what I mean. The book, that's what I said. Lisa Rinna sent me this book to get back at Kathy Hilton. But the book is not cheap, y'all. The book is not cheap. um, While Paris holds title to the Hilton name, she is not the hotel empire heiress who will inherit tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, as so often been reported. One of the reasons she's working her tush off, asserts a Hilton family insider, is because there's not enough of a big inheritance to go around. She'll never be on the welfare line, but she's not a trust fund baby either. When Paris's paternal grandmother, Marilyn Howie Hilton, died in 1999, she is said to have left 60 million to be divided up among her 8 children, one of whom is Paris's father, a Beverly Hills realtor and one of the executive producers of I Want to Be a Hilton. But that's all of the money that they're getting. So 60 million split amongst 8 people. But her grandfather Barron has a certain amount of independent wealth. But the huge dollar amounts are already owned by the Hilton Foundation. There's no more for Paris. Paris, however, claims she's avoided the family business because I wouldn't just want to be given something. So it did not come as a surprise to anyone in the Hilton inner circle that Paris was out and about trying to make her own bundle to become her own corporate entity and to corral a rich husband. 2 well-publicized contenders were Greek shipping heirs, Paris Latis and Stavros Niarchos. Now, y'all, I remember the Stavros stuff. This is, well, let me show you. Let me share this with you guys. Because Stavros was a plumb fool. I had never seen anybody do what Stavros did in a car. Where is it? Again, I didn't, when people were driving all these Bentleys and stuff like that, this is Stavros in Paris. Stavros is in the front seat. Stavros and them are worth billions. He runs her Bentley into the back of a truck.
Get this man out of here. Let this man.
Undaunted, Stavros guns it and makes a getaway.
Man out of here.
A few blocks later, TMZ spots the Bentley.
Baby, I'm scaring myself.
But Stavros didn't make a clean getaway. LAPD
Do y'all like how Harvey is narrating this?
officers in a patrol car spotted the car and made a stop. Stavros seems unsteady. As far as we could see, the two officers never conducted a field sobriety test. Perhaps startling because Talon Torriero himself raised an alarm as he offered to drive. The cops let Paris and company go, but not before she offered her special brand of thanks.
Thank you, officer. We love it.
An LA
Y'all, you can't make this up. You cannot make this up. The cops let his drunk behind go. And yes, this is what made TMZ. But Stavros's family felt like Paris was lowbrow, but that was what their son did. Now, get this, guys. This is him now. This man looks about 50. He's like 37. He married a good girl, but he looks every bit of 50. This is what money and living a hard life will do to you. Let's continue. Paris's parents were said to have been praying for one of those mergers to happen so there could be a really big money in their immediate family, like Nikki got when she married a Rothschild in present day. But the Lattices reportedly snubbed Rick and Kathy Hilton when they arrived in Greece to bond. And the engagement announced by Kathy Hilton was called off. As one cynical observer noted, Rick and Kathy flew halfway around the world to be humiliated. The Lattice family felt that Paris was nothing more than a promiscuous innkeeper's daughter. The word was that Paris Lattice vetoed a marriage to Paris Hilton on direct orders from his parents, and that Paris was livid. Later, Kathy Hilton was overheard in a Tony Hampton's restaurant, rationalizing that the Lattice kids was just lazy and spoiled. A young man who didn't have the kind of motivation Paris possessed to make a name for himself. Paris's much ballyhooed relationship with Stavros also hit a brick wall and ended. Paris told the New York Times, which devoted a third of Art's page to her May 2005, "I'm glad I got the partying out of my system when I was young, because now I'm so over it and I can focus on my career now that I'm trying to build an empire." That was 2005. 2022, Paris is still in Greece partying. Speaking in the same vein to TV Guide around the same time about her success, she said, "This doesn't just happen. I mean, I work. I'm a good person. I have good ideas and I'm smart. And I'm a good businesswoman." Her perception of herself, however, differs from how members of her management team view her, especially about her work part. As one close observer succinctly put it, work is not Paris's forte, but she's really kind of serious about all of it and has an amazing acumen. She's bright about three things: money, men, and how to get attention. And those are the only things that she really cares about. She's basically classically self involved and narcissistic. This is one of her employees. I've spent an enormous amount of time with her, and after she leaves a meeting, I always find myself wondering, where did this creature come from? What are her genetics happening here? Who's responsible for turning out a persona like this? Where did she get her values, ethics, and morals? What's her story? Book one, Maternal Roots. Now, this is where we start seeing the cracks with Big Kathy. Y'all, like many children, and this chapter, they really lay into Kathy's parenting. Like many other children of the rich and famous, Paris Hilton didn't always get to spend quality time with her parents, especially her mother, a socially ambitious young woman. Kathleen Elizabeth Avizino Richards Hilton, who had married into the celebrated Hilton family, was often out and about, with little time on her hands for mothering. She was cavalier about leaving her firstborn with hired help or relatives. This was made abundantly clear to Patricia Skipworth Hilton, the first wife of Conrad Hilton's third son, a Texas beauty who had married into the Hilton family in her late teens. Pat, a mother of four, had become quite close over the years to her sister-in-law and brother-in-law, Marilyn and Baron Hilton, parents of Kathy's husband, Rick, the second of Conrad's three sons. Baron had succeeded the Hilton patriarch as head of the international hotel empire. Pat adored Marilyn, a former cheerleader who herself was a gorgeous teenage bride when she became part of the Hilton family. The Hilton men, from Conrad on down, were known for taking young girls as their brides. Whenever Paris visited Los Angeles from her home in Houston, whenever Pat visited Los Angeles from her home in Houston, Marilyn insisted that they stay at their spectacular estate. It was during one of those occasions when Pat was in the throes of one of her many divorce actions in what was a hellish marriage to Eric Hilton, hellish marriages not being an oddity in the Hilton dynasty, that she observed new mother Kathy Hilton in action. I was there talking with Marilyn when here comes Kathy with Paris, who was 9 months old and a great big fat pretty baby. Pat Hilton says in her Lone Star State drawl, Kathy said, meet Star. She called Paris Star from day one. Would you like to hold her for a minute? That was the last I saw of Kathy that day. She took off until the evening. I wanted to kill her. She didn't leave any instructions on what time Paris had to be fed. There weren't any diapers. She just left me in the lurch. Kathy met this woman for the first time. She hands her baby to her and then flees the estate to go hang out and comes back that night. Y'all, you can't make this up. Furious, Pat vented to Marilyn, who listened sympathetically and knowingly and rolled her eyes. Marilyn said, laughing, well, I guess you're it for the day. Kathy does this all the time. She just wants to go out, and she knew you'd take care of the kid. When Kathy finally reappeared at day's end, Pat confronted her. How dare you do this to me? According to Pat, Kathy's only reply was, oh, I had to be somewhere. I didn't think you'd mind. I warned her, never ever do this to me again. But it didn't bother her at all. Kathy Hilton's very selfish and very spoiled and very self-centered, and that absolutely carries through to Paris. When Rick and Kathy Hilton, revealed and deemed to bring Paris along, they naturally stayed in Hilton hotels, where they demanded special services, including babysitting, care for their daughter, despite the fact that Baron Hilton had a strict rule barring Hiltons from getting special treatment or favorable room rates. When they were in New York, y'all got to think about this. This is no longer a family business. Once they became a publicly traded company, you can't run it like the family business. But you'll see that Kathy doesn't care. When they were in New York and Paris was just an infant, Kathy and Rick would get one of the women from housekeeping at the New York Hilton to babysit for them. Not not a specific one that they knew, just someone in housekeeping to come and take care of the baby. They would leave Paris on Friday and not come back for her until late Sunday. It was a known fact that Kathy and Rick liked to party, and when Kathy was a young mother, she had no qualms about flaunting the Hilton name and taking advantage of it. She let it be known that Rick was going to be the next Mr. Hilton, so hotel executives were afraid to argue with her. None of Barron's 8 kids were getting a free ride. The only one who ever took advantage was Kathy. Kathy and Rick were prone to show up out of the blue without reservations at a Hilton hotel on a busy weekend and demand the best suite in the house, fine wine and food, and babysitting for Paris. One of their targets was the Hilton in Parsippany, New Jersey, which had a four-star restaurant and a hip dance discotheque. The hotel also housed a number of lavishly furnished suites leased by big corporations. When Paris was a toddler, Rick and Kathy appeared on a busy Friday with her in tow, along with two small dogs. Though the hotel was fully booked, they made it clear that they were Hiltons and wanted VIP treatment. The best suite, complimentary food, and a babysitter because Paris' parents wanted to spend the night boogieing in the disco. The manager, who didn't want to get in hot water with the members of the ruling family, broke their ironclad no special treatment rule and put them in a suite. Vacant for the weekend that was leased by pharmaceutical company Warner Lambert. I thought, what the hell? They're going to leave on Sunday so it'll work out. But no sooner do I get back to my office, I get a call from Rick, who says it's customary that we get a welcome amenity. I told him, oh, absolutely. Then he says, we like a nice California red wine and something white. And my wife likes seafood. And then he demanded a babysitter. I had to convince the hotel's elderly German seamstress to do the sitting. Again, they're just leaving Paris with anybody. Anybody. The manager felt relieved when the Hiltons checked out Sunday night because Warner Lambert people were coming the next morning. But then he got a call to return to the hotel post haste because there was a major crisis. I go up to the suite the Hiltons were using, and there's dog poop and dog urine all over the place. I mean, everywhere. They didn't walk their dogs for the entire weekend. It was a real nightmare. We ended up having housekeeping to do a detailed deep cleaning. After all that, I never heard a word from Rick or Kathy. Never got a thank you. But that's where their mindset is. They act like the imperial court. So they not only left their child, they left their two dogs and let them poop all over a hotel room that did not belong to them. The hotel was privately leased by another company. Y'all, Kathy and Rook also threw their weight around at the Las Vegas Hilton, another place where they like to party and where Paris was spotted as a little girl wearing mascara and eyeliner painted on by her mother. By then, Kathy was booking Paris into charity event fashion shows. The Hiltons, including Paris and her sister Nikki, quickly earned a reputation for arrogance, threats, and intimidation. Whew. Kathy and Rick and the girls looked down their noses at the help and were very judgmental. Paris and Nikki were running loose in the hotel, were always trouble, and the mother always seemed to be coaching them. She notes that the Hilton sisters usually were accompanied by hired help who looked like they were treated despicably. Oh, probably like Sweetie from RHOA. I could see that. When Paris and Nikki informed hotel employees who they were, the workers ran the other way. The philosophy was if you run into Rick and Kathy or their daughters, just keep your head down and your mouth shut. Kathy was absolutely pushy, arrogant, and condescending, presumptuous, and Paris picked that up from her. The spotlight always had to be on Kathy. It was always, do you know who we are? Do you know who I am? Rick was usually like a bump on a log. He had a look on his face he was taking a bowel movement. However, Yankovic remembers an incident in which Paris's father was shockingly outspoken. It happened some weeks after Kathy Hilton gave birth to one of their two sons, Conrad and Barron. Rick Hilton was smoking a celebratory cigar outside the main entrance of the Las Vegas Hilton's crowded celebrity showroom. She asked him what he attributed to. He said, loud enough for anyone to hear, I like to F-U-C-K. This is what he's telling a Hilton employee. Guests were passing by and heard it and looked at him. I couldn't believe it. Some detractors felt that Rick and Kathy did not measure up to the proud Hilton name. One who personally knew the family even put his feelings into print. Taki, a controversial figure who wrote the High Life column for Britain's respected Spectator magazine, declared in the column that Kathy and Rick are straight out of the Beverly Hillbillies. He claimed they eat hamburgers covered with ketchup washed down with Chateau Latour. He called Rick a hick, as thick as they come, and proclaimed that neither Rick nor Kathy would ever win the Parenting of the Year award. Kathy and Rick were also among former CBS newsman Berno Goldberg's 2005 diatribe, 100 people who are screwing up America, for raising the most vapid twerp maybe in the world. When Paris was about 12 and still on the innocent side. How are you 12 and still on the innocent side? Oh my gosh. We'll get into how she was 12 and still on the innocent side. When Paris was about 12 and still on the innocent side, she had pet ferrets that she carried in her Prada purse. The cute little rodents accompanied her everywhere she went in the hotel, which caused headaches for the Hilton managers, who were afraid to challenge her. On occasion, Paris and her sister showed up at the glitzy hotel showroom where the big acts entertained audience with Rick and Kathy. The girls brought the ferrets in with them, and Rick and Kathy didn't care. They could not see any further ahead than what their children wanted. While we were responsible for the safety of our guests, we did not want those little rodents escaping and rubbing up against a customer's ankles. One of the managers with gumption decided to confront the Hiltons. You need to get your girls and rodents out of here. They're not coming in, and I'm not allowing them. Kathy put her hands on her hips and got in his face and said, well, their grandfather, Baron, will certainly hear about this. Now, that is a rich Karen move. A very rich Karen move. Let's see if it worked. Okay. Their grandfather is going to know from me how you are treating his granddaughters. The manager's business-like but empathetic response was, you go right ahead and tell him. This is a publicly traded company, and I am doing my job. I have a multitude of guests to worry about. You have to take the rodents elsewhere. Mind you guys, they also weren't paying. So they're expecting all this preferential treatment. They're not paying for anything, and they're expecting you to go above and beyond. There was considerable chatter that as Paris got older, she made use of facilities at the other hotels like Las Vegas, where she demanded and received VIP treatment, just like her parents did. According to an insider, Paris and her pals used the saunas in one hotel to go to the bathroom in because they were too lazy to get out of the sauna to use the actual facilities. Y'all, they peed in the sauna. Paris's purported urination problems became public in 2005 when a blogger and then the New York Post reported that cleaning crews had to be brought in at the opening of a Las Vegas club because Paris was not able to wait in line for the bathroom. In early 2006, a Hawaiian taxi driver claimed she was inebriated and had urinated in his cab. He threatened to use her DNA in court. Before Rick and Kathy moved their brood to New York City in the 90s, the Hiltons lived in exclusive Bel Air in Los Angeles, where Paris and Nikki attended a strict coeducational Roman Catholic school, St. Paul the Apostle, which went up to the 8th grade. The Hilton girls were required to wear uniforms and were given a Catholic education in addition to the reading, writing, and arithmetic. It was more strict than a lot of schools. The principal was against having boy-girl parties. Paris graduated from St. Paul in 1995, the only school from which she believed to ever have received a formal diploma. But because of her increasingly wild behavior, she was not seen at the 8th grade parent-sponsored graduation party. She then went to Marymount House School in Bel Air, but she didn't finish with her class. Nikki, 2 years younger than Paris, was friends with another St. Paul student, Diana Tangalikas, the daughter of an attorney. By an odd coincidence, Diana's mother, Jenny, had worked years earlier as a secretary in Conrad Hilton's offices and experienced some amusing episodes with the old flirt who came onto her when she was 21 and engaged to be married. He was in his 80s. On a number of occasions, Diana was invited by Nikki to sleep over at the Hiltons, and that caused concern for her mother. Back then, Nikki was very quiet, very polite and sweet, but it was hard for her to be accepted by the kids. Kids that age can be tough. Nikki wasn't included in the lot because she was rich, because she had the Hilton name, you know. She was the first kid to bring a cell phone to school. So all of that made it difficult. And Paris had a reputation. She was off the wall even back then. Y'all, this is people's parents talking about this girl, like in 8th, 9th grade. When I would take my daughter up to Rick and Kathy's house to spend the night with Nikki, I always had to wonder, who's in charge here? Kathy and Rick were never around. There would be the housekeeper who spoke very little English, who Kathy usually refers to as the lady. That didn't ride well with me. I tell my daughter, if you feel uncomfortable, just call and we'll get you. I drive away thinking, is this stupid of me or what? As Tangalikas observed, it didn't appear to me that there was much parental involvement. When the Hilton decided to move to New York, there was much talk among the parents of St. Paul's alumni. The scuttlebutt was that Kathy wanted to expose her girls to social and nightlife world in Manhattan. Her middle-aged girls. She wanted her girls to be in the limelight, and she certainly accomplished that. By the time Paris was in her mid-teens and becoming the reigning princess of gossip, she suddenly vanished from New York, where her family was ensconced in a 30th floor penthouse at the exclusive Waldorf Towers. Sorry. The Towers is the residential arm of the Waldorf Astoria, one of the world's grand dame of hotels. Conrad Hilton had bought the place with much hoopla in the late 40s. Now, several generations later, Paris was making all the headlines. Not since the 1950, when Paris's Hollywood playboy uncle, Nick Hilton, Conrad's firstborn, Elizabeth Taylor's first husband, was a constant bold-faced name in the columns for his narcissistic nights of broods, boozing, and brawling, had there been a Hilton so publicly outrageous and wicked. At the time of her disappearance, Paris, who bounced from school to school because of her grades, her behavior, or both, was attending a hoity-toity private academy on Central Park West. While the Dwight School, founded in 1872, boasted that its mission was to develop each student's unique capabilities by integrating mind, body, and spirit, rich kid detractors from other fancy schools joked that Dwight was an acronym for dumb white idiots getting high together. When the whisper became a war and questions about Paris' curious evaporation reached Kathy Hilton, she had a ready, albeit convoluted, explanation. Now, y'all catch this. Her daughter is just nowhere to be found. I'm not quite sure if this is when they sent her to that school to get, fixed. But this is what Kathy was telling people. Well, you know what? She never got friendly with anyone at Dwight. And Paris had a 3.8 average. She's very, very smart. We left the school because we had a stalker. It was the most frightening thing I've ever gone through, she explained in a piece at Vanity Fair that featured a full-page photo of Paris striking a arresting pose, legs teasingly spread, wearing a crotch-bearing mini and a see-through mesh top for all the world's stalkers to drool over. Y'all, I have this pic. I feel like it's pretty covered up. Y'all put in the chat if y'all want to see the pic. I feel like it's covered up. I think it's covered. I think so. It was scary, continued her mother, of the stalker situation. We pretended that we went here and there. We said, oh, she went off there. And the truth is, we spent some time in London at the London Hilton. We brought the tutors with us. Let's see. This was the pic that Kathy is talking about while saying that Paris had a stalker at a young age. But this is what the picture that they chose for Vanity Fair. I can't make this up. Well, you know what? Okay. She maintained that Paris graduated from high school with some homeschooling. Right, Haru, tasteless. Curiously, however, Kathy Hilton's recitation of the circumstances surrounding Paris' disappearance differs substantially from the way Waldorf Astoria manager insiders remember it. The hotel and the towers, home over the decades to visiting presidents and pretenders, have the highest and tightest security. The insiders claim that if there had been a stalker, they never were made aware of him, and they would have been because that was a threat. So even the hotel is calling these people out. As one executive who, along with his father, had a long storied history with the Hilton Hotel organization, there are absolutely no secrets if you live in a hotel. They have a Hilton employees have a proclivity to gossip. They relish in trying to find out what are someone's peccadillos. I've never heard that. Peccadillos? Excuse me. It's like having a fishbowl. Your comings and goings are clocked. And if they've got a bone to pick with someone, Paris's parents, especially Kathy Hilton, infuriated a lot of Waldorf people with their imperious manner. They make sure to bring them down. According to the hotelman, Paris had hightailed it out of the Waldorf for a fling with a cute trucker with a big rig whom she met while he was unloading goodies on the hotel's loading docks. Y'all, Paris then ran away with a trucker. Oh, okay. Picadillo is like a quirk. Thanks, Andrea. Paris apparently wanted a taste of the simple life in the cozy cab of an 18-wheeler. I don't remember anything about a stalker ever surfacing in the hotel. We're not going to go through that. There was a big to-do at the Waldorf. How are we going to explain to Barron that we lost his kid, who was not a Hilton employee and therefore not subject to Hilton's gag order? Oh, so he's making them sign gag orders. So Kathy is putting out statements, and the dad is making all these people and all these employees sign NDAs. At the same time, there were whispers within the tight-lipped, low-key Hilton family circle of provocative and distressing behavior involving Paris and a group of young men, actions that had gotten her into a jam at school. There was chatter of Paris's sticky finger snatching everything from a relative's lingerie, stupid things like panties, to an expensive car belonging to a girlfriend's parents. She took it and was driving all over New York City. Of course, they hushed it up. Whatever the reason for Paris's disappearance, deranged stalker, horny trucker, or some other shenanigans, one fact is crystal clear. Kathy shipped Paris off to stay with her own mother. This is the big Kathy. Yes, it is gross that she's stealing panties. Kathy Hilton shipped Paris off to stay with her own mother. Paris's maternal grandmother, Kathleen married Dugan Avanzino Richards Catan Fenton, also known as Big Kathy. She lived in Palm Desert, part of Palm Springs, the sizzling California desert, Babylon for the rich, famous, and infamous. Also in the goddamn house that Kyle stole from her sister. Kathy Hilton, known as Little Kathy, had high hopes for their mother. Considered a driven, ambitious stage mother from hell, could straighten out the wild child. Paris's grandmother adored her, called her my Marilyn Monroe, and pledged she'd one day be world famous. Maybe this is why Paris turned out the way that she did. Of all people, Marilyn Monroe, but the fact that I can't even. And pledged one day she'd be world famous. When Paris was still an adolescent, Big Kathy had tried to get her into modeling. At one point, Big Kathy called her close friend Jane Harlan, who had been in the runway business for years earlier, to secure Paris a catwalk slot at Eileen Ford's famed agency. Paris was 13 or 14 years old, and she was breathtaking, but she was kind of shy, if you can believe it, and didn't think that she had the personality for it. Paris was Kathleen's first grandchild. They had a very special bond. Kathleen thought she could take Paris under her wing, straighten her out, and make things happen for her. Little Kathy sent Paris to live with her mom because Paris was totally out of control. States Michelle Mickey Catan, the daughter of Paris's grandmother's third husband, Jack Catan, himself a real-life Tony Soprano mobster. So we had heard that Big Kathy, one of her 4 or 5 marriages was to the mob. A young divorcee at the time, Mickey Catan had become like another daughter to Big Kathy, and had partied with little Kathy before she married into the Hilton family. A member of Kathy and Rick Hilton's wedding, Catan had seen Paris when she was just a baby and later when she was in her terrible twos. She was gorgeous. Her face was incredible, like a porcelain doll. But other than reading the burgeoning gossip about Paris's feverish frolics, Catan hadn't seen her face to face for some years until she was invited to Big Kathy's to visit her in the desert when the naughty teenager was under her jurisdiction. I went and stayed for a weekend, and Paris was such a snot. Even back then, she thought her didn't stink. She was just a very spoiled girl. However, Catan didn't get the impression that the change of environment had improved Paris's behavior. I hardly ever saw her because she came into the house, changed her clothes, and disappeared again. She was always with a group of girls. They'd all go out together, which cracked me up because that's exactly what her mother, Kathy Hilton, used to do when we partied together. It wasn't New York nightlife, but it was Palm Springs. Paris must have had the town going crazy. After Kathy and Rick Hilton placed Paris in the hands of their grandmother to be tamed, the concerned parents took off for a much-needed breather from the stresses and strains of parenthood by going on a cruise aboard another wealthy couple's yacht. Where is the younger daughter? Where are the 2 sons? They ship Paris off, their problem child, and then they leave the other kids to go yachting. An extended yacht trip. They were gone for a long, long time, says a family insider. And Mama, Big Kathy, took care of Paris. And what was that ever a trip? While staying with her grandmother, Paris was enrolled at a very fancy Palm Valley high school, where she had a reputation as a flirt who cared little about her studies, though she came prepared for algebra class in style with a bejeweled calculator. Not shout out to Big Kathy. There were other schools on Paris's journey through the secondary education. For a couple months, she attended Canterbury School in Connecticut, but was ejected when she left for a weekend without permission. For a time, she matriculated at the Buckley School in Sherman Oaks, where her friends and classmates included Kimberly Stewart and wild daughter of Rucker, Rod Stewart, and Nicole Richie. Now, what's funny is this book is so old, the bigger celebrity out of all of them now would be Kim Kardashian, who she went to the school with. That's funny. I just remember at Buckley, all the guys loved her because, we had to wear uniforms. Like we had these proper uniforms, and there was a certain way you had to wear your skirts. And she and I would kind of lift ours up. She lift hers up a little further, and our skirts would be a little shorter than everyone else's. And we always used to get in trouble for that, called Kimberly Stewart. She was always thirsty. If you don't remember, Kimberly Stewart was who Paris tried to replace Nicole Richie with on The Simple Life. And this dummy, all I remember about her from back in the day was she was on a red carpet on a motorcycle, and she allowed them to rev her engine, and she flew off. And Paris looked at her and laughed. I'll have that clip on the next video. But that's really all I remember about Kimberly Stewart. Paris also attended professional children's school in Manhattan and spent time at a school for troubled kids in Utah that featured behavior modification therapy. This was the school that Paris did her documentary on, where she had led all kinds of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. Because of her growing bad girl reputation, Paris was said to have been refused admittance to a private Catholic school in New York. Another family was considering enrolling their daughter, but once they heard Paris was there, they said, "We're not coming." Paris claimed years later that she had been diagnosed as a child with attention deficit disorder. As she got older, this led some to believe that she was on drugs, which she denied using. Now, y'all, I remember Paris getting caught with Coca-Cola and saying it wasn't her purse. That's okay, Paris. While Big Kathy had serious concerns about her granddaughter's behavior, she was also extremely proud of Paris's growing fame. In fact, it was a Beverly Hills condo owned by Big Kathy where Paris struck the sexy pose for the Vanity Fair article in which Little Kathy told the stalker story. I already showed y'all the picture. Was she Rod Stewart's daughter? Yeah, Kimberly Stewart was Rod Stewart's daughter. Paris replaced her friends all the time. First it was Nicole Richie, then it was Kimberly Stewart, then it was Kim Kardashian. Big Kathy bragged about her and was so excited she was in the magazine. She was looking at the layout saying, "This is the vehicle to make Paris a star." She doesn't realize how much this is going to do for her. Her fame is just starting to take off. I remember her telling me, "This is the turning point for Paris's career, but we're not going to tell her," she goes. "We're not going to let it go to her head like it wasn't already there." To her first husband's brother, Ken Avazino, Big Kathy predicted a most spectacular and grandiose future for her granddaughter. "You watch," she declared with the utmost confidence. "Paris is going to be bigger than Princess Di." And to Linda Muxker, a friend from her high school days, Big Kathy, referring to her granddaughter's uninhibited ways, asserted, "Paris really isn't like that. That is, a poster child for exhibitionism. She's just your sweet average girl next door." She's a girl next door, right? Meanwhile, Big Kathy threw the blame for Paris's bad behavior on her very own daughter, Kathy Hilton. Did y'all hear that? Meanwhile, Big Kathy threw the blame for Paris's bad girl behavior on her very own daughter, Kathy Hilton. Big Kathy used to tell me, "My daughter does not know how to be a mother. She's a good businesswoman. She's smart. She's beautiful, but she's not a good mother." She said Kathy never paid attention to those kids, Paris and Nikki, until they started to become famous. And that's because she had her own agenda and because she's a very self centered, selfish lady, just interested in how much higher she could climb. Big Kathy always said, "Kathy is the worst mom." Now, y'all, I'm not going to be dropping the link throughout these, but I'm going to drop it for probably about like 15 minutes if anybody wants to come up. Like I said, we're not going to be dropping the link throughout this, but because it's the first one and it's a kickoff and I want to know what you guys are thinking, you guys are welcome to come up on this one, but only we got 15 minutes. Y'all, did Big Kathy think that she was a good mother? Because based on this, I can't say that I think that Kathy was all that great of a mom.
Hey,
What's up? Hey.
can I say I told you so?
Oh, what did you tell me?
I told you Kathy wasn't ish.
Hey, Tony. I mean, did she lie though? Lisa, don't forget to mute your thing when you're not talking.
Oh yeah, all this book shows me that Paris was a sports rich kid that didn't have parents who really didn't give a fuck about her. They
Language.
did what the other, excuse my fault, the language, but they did what other wealthy parents do. They put their children in the hands of caretakers,
What
and they
caretaker?
go off. That was the wealthy normally do
But
back
she
in the
didn't.
day.
There were no caretakers, Lisa. She just dropped them.
Yeah, it's not like they had a consistent nanny or Big Kathy was there the whole time or something. She was just leaving them with random people.
Yeah,
And
that's
I've
what I'm talking
always
about.
suspected that something happened to Paris because her and Nikki are very, very different. Like if
Sure
you
are.
watch that wedding special, Nikki just be looking at Kathy and Paris like something wrong with y'all.
That's what it was. That's what it was. Rick
And
was
that's why she ended up with the
random.
real money. That's
Mm-hmm.
why
Exactly.
because she
Yeah.
had
Money
the
and
common
title.
sense.
Nikki has a title.
Nikki has a title. What title
Yes,
is
because
that?
her she married
Is
the heir to the Rothschild fortune.
is she a lady? I didn't know they had a.
Yes.
Is she a
Oh,
Yeah, the
Earl or
Rothschilds
something?
do have a title.
oh yeah, if they
But
own
Nikki doesn't have
land
it yet, but she will.
in certain
Okay,
areas,
where over
they
in
have a
London?
title.
Yes.
I gotta look that up. I ain't know that. Cause
Hmm.
Queen Victoria didn't like the Rothschilds, and she
Who
passed it down to her
cares?
children.
Who cares?
Yeah,
They
but if you own land in a certain area, you get a title.
That's not how the Rothschilds got it though. The Rothschilds got
Okay.
their titles because they invented the modern banking system
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, you're
during the
right. You're right. I
hmm
totally forgot
that's
about
how
yeah,
they
that.
got their title.
Yeah.
yeah.
And their money.
and their
Yeah,
money. You're correct.
yeah, they sure did, Corey. I mean, hey, now they said they won the wealthiest family, they won the world now. So I don't know. But
They all,
all I can see,
yeah.
all I can tell is like this book. That's all this I can see out this book. This book ain't tell me nothing new about them. That's why I say when you hear Lisa Runner talking to how Kathy showed her ass at the club, I can truly believe after hearing Mills read that book how Kathy and Rick was like they just leave her. They just wanna party, leave pay with anybody. They just want to party and stuff and just be who they is like wealthy people. So
That's
I
why Rick
can
was kicked
definitely
out of the family business.
You know what?
that's
I wonder if
that's why I said
another
I can
family
truly
member
believe
took
that. I
Nikki or
can
something.
I can
Say that
believe a
again,
Nikki
woman
Callie.
say that. I
is
You
can
wonder
believe a
if
not.
what?
woman.
Say that again, Callie.
I wonder if some other family member took Nikki at a point because Nikki is not like Paris and the brothers.
Or her brother.
Maybe
Yeah,
they had a real
Yeah,
nanny
they
by the
sure not.
time.
Well, they had a
the
nanny.
brother's younger.
They had a nanny briefly. Nikki and Paris had a nanny briefly. It was Bethany Frankel of all people.
I think
That's
she
how her and
was
Kyle
a
met.
babysitter.
I remember that.
Child,
That's how
that's
her and
messed
Kyle
up
met.
too. That
But I
messed
mean,
up.
we
That's
can
another
see
messed up situation. That's how you know they messed up. Child,
Because
we can
Paris
see
is
that. Hold
40.
on one
Like, how
second.
old was
Hold on
Bethany?
one
Bethany
second.
was probably like
We
just a babysitter.
we can see that Bethany has a penchant for little girls and doing right by kids. We see how she is. So I could see that probably being a positive influence back in the day. Because a lot of kids who come from abusive households
Yeah.
choose not to, impart that on the next generation. So maybe she was a good influence.
Yeah, until she got fired because she couldn't find
child.
Paris.
I don't believe not no Betty Franklin. I don't believe you gotta show me. You gotta show me. Really gotta show me. I gotta go back in time to see that. I'm sorry. Not
Okay.
Betty
Yeah, I think
Franklin.
she's giving herself more of a title. I think she was like a teenage babysitter from time to time.
No, she was their nanny. She picked them up from school. She took them around and had to wrangle Paris until Kathy deemed fit. Because after her and Kyle became friends, then Farah, who's the same age, I think, as Paris. She's either the same age as Paris or the same age as Nikki. They would do things with the girls, her and Kyle.
So
So she
nobody
was
got
there for a
any.
while until they lost Paris.
You've read this book already, right, Corey?
I read some of it. I just don't have time. If it was on Audible, I would read the entire book, but I just
Well,
don't have
technically, it
time.
is now.
Is it? Because I couldn't find it.
Me.
Oh, you? Yeah, I'm gonna listen to you. Yeah, I read like the first chapter, but I knew all this already because that's what I do. I've always been a pop culture geek.
Well, I remember being on Robertson. I don't know if you guys remember Robertson Boulevard, but that
Yes.
was the paparazzi hotspot.
Yep.
And they were like
It was
chasing
like
somebody.
Kitson.
They
Was
were
it like
Yep.
Kitson?
taking up all the parking, everything. And me and my friend, we were like, we got to go in the store and see who this is. And it was Paris. And she came out of the dressing room, like modeling something she tried on with her cheeks sucked in. And my friend was trying to hold in her laughter so hard. I thought she was going to pee on herself.
Well, Paris
Sorry,
pees
guys. I'm
everywhere,
laughing.
so
Like,
Yeah.
Paris pees everywhere, so she would have been in good company.
Mm-hmm. You know, Buckley is where Kathy met Latoya, because that's where the Jacksons went.
oh, yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know they all met in school. They all like went to school together.
Yep.
I mean, this.
Kathy
And all
Hilton
of
went
their
to school
children
with.
went to Buckley, actually,
I mean,
except
because Corey
except for
just like
Kyle's
me.
kids because they were Jewish.
But Corey just like me. I used to read all the tabloids. I used to watch the Rich and Famous with my mom all the time. Like I'm not gonna tell you my age.
Yeah, my sister was she's a retired makeup artist in Hollywood, so I got
Oh,
all of the
okay.
I got all of the stuff firsthand. So
But you know what? We can say,
So I used to
oh,
watch
Paris
all that
did
stuff
this.
like you too, Corey. I did. I used to do all that stuff too. You know what I'm saying? Watch the tabloids. I used to watch a current affair, hard copy, all that stuff.
mm-hmm.
I used to
did
watch TMZ and
everything.
and Perez
Paris made
Hilton
TMZ, hands
Oh
down.
Lord.
and
Yeah,
Perez
TMZ is
Hilton.
well, you know what? You can say what you want about Harvey Levin. He gets dirt. He
Yes,
gets
he
the
do.
dirt.
He do
Low in
get
the
the dirt.
gutter.
He do.
Yes,
Yeah.
he does. He rolls around in the gutter, but he gets it.
So guys,
Yeah.
I initially was not gonna do this. I was so not gonna do this book because
You love Kathy and it would change your mind about her.
besties. And I wouldn't want Kathy to get angry at me because I'm gonna be reading her down as I read this book. But I'm invested now, so it's probably
Hold on
gonna.
for
It's
Mills. Who sent you that book?
don't worry about my business, Lisa. That's
Uh
should be
oh.
all in my business,
Uh
Lisa.
oh.
Perez Hilton.
Because
Uh oh.
I thought you
Since
said
someone
earlier. Hold
needs
on,
to go by the name Perez
hold
Hilton.
on now. I thought I heard you say earlier in the video that Lisa Winner sent you that book.
Lisa sent it to me. Yep.
Liar.
Ooh.
Well, you know what? I think two things can be true. I do
I'm
think that
just,
Kathy
I'm,
went off about Kyle,
Hey,
and I think
Rebecca.
that she was yelling and telling Kyle's business and cussing and all of that stuff. But I
Mm-hmm.
also think that Lisa exaggerated a bit.
She did.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
y'all.
she
So we
because
didn't.
I
gotta.
think
She
that
right.
We
what
gotta.
If
Nope.
you
happened.
Nope.
if
Not
you
doing it. Nope. Lisa. Nope. Kelly. Corey. Nope. We're not doing
What?
it.
Not
It's just
doing
about the
what?
book. We're not gonna do Beverly
Oh,
Hills.
okay.
That
I
is.
get
Okay,
you.
so
no,
I
going
get
back
That
to the
is.
book.
I'm
I
just
get
saying if you believe
That. Nope.
everything in that
Lisa.
book,
Nope. Nope. Oh, okay. It's
okay.
about the
I
book.
got okay.
if you
Okay,
believe
so
everything
going
in that
back to
book,
the
in which
book.
I believe them people telling the truth, I believe everything what they said on that show that she did.
Well,
Well,
didn't
going back to the book, as far as I
The book.
know, Paris is dyslexic. And I
mm-hmm.
can tell you, as someone who's also dyslexic, I hated school. That
Mm-hmm.
was like to me, actually, the environment of school and the way that school is set up actually hindered me getting a good education. I can see
Exactly.
that now as an adult, but as a kid, I'm just thinking like I got to go to school like everybody else. But in reality, me thinking about this as a grown ass woman, I should have been homeschooled.
Mm-hmm.
Do
That
we know
actually
for
going
sure
to
that
school
she's?
actually interfered with me getting an education.
Do we
Well,
know for sure that she's dyslexic, or is the situation like the stalker, where they just allege things that sound
No,
good?
I think that she was diagnosed at some point.
I
As
think when
far
she
as
went to
How do we know
prison,
that?
I think when she went to prison, they diagnosed her.
She
yeah.
did not go to prison.
Because
She went to jail.
Well, she
Stop.
went to
well,
the county
whatever.
jail. Yeah, she went to Twin Towers downtown.
She went to jail. Okay.
Yeah, no, she went
Doing
to Twin
hard
Towers.
time.
I didn't even go to Twin Towers. I was in the
I
local
mean,
jail.
but I believe that
But
was really
ADHD
changed her.
itself would hinder
I
someone
believe
from
that when they
getting an
told
education.
her, I really do, because I was looking at when the judge told her, no, baby, you got to go back to jail. This is not finna settle. You finna go back to
Her,
jail. I believe when she spent that little time in jail, she found them folks was not playing with her little rich tail. Mama, daddy can't help you out right now.
mm,
Okay?
her
You are
bro-
still broke the law, you gotta go to jail like everybody else do. When she
To
found
answer
that
this
mess out,
question, to answer this question, do I believe Kyle fed info for this book? No, I don't believe that
No.
any of the Richards or any of the very close knit Hilton family, but everybody else, like part of the stuff that I was reading was from one of their aunts. A
mm-hmm,
lot of these people do not like Rick and Kathy,
mm-mm.
and they definitely did not like Paris because Paris brought the wrong type of publicity to the family. But
Yep.
guys, we're gonna close out on this.
Okay.
I want to say that I am gonna be doing this whole book. Sometimes I'm gonna have friends up here. Like I said, Jolene said that she's gonna do it. My friend Really B is gonna do it. Um, and sometimes it might just be me. Sometimes I'll drop it like just during the day or in the morning. Maybe like I'll do it one night and drop it the next morning. But we're gonna get through this entire book. I don't think anywhere on YouTube will you actually hear the entire book.
Okay.
Um,
baby,
so
I
we
am here for it, baby.
it just gets juicier and juicier. But I'm not surprised by anything that I've read here.
I'm
Okay.
not surprised neither. I'm not surprised. I, that you talking about wealthy, rich white folks that back in the day people used to cater to, and they sometimes they still
Mm,
cater to them today. You know what I'm
I
saying?
also think that Kathy didn't really want kids. I
No,
think
she
that
did.
she had those kids probably because she was
Big
It
young and
Kathy
didn't
solidified
told her
really
to
that.
do
know
it.
what she
It
wanted,
solidified the
and her
marriage.
husband wanted them.
Big Kathy told her to do it because
Yep.
Big Kathy told her you better get that bag. And what trips me out is the two guys that Paris was engaged to, their family didn't even want them. Didn't even want to be associated with Rick and Kathy.
Yeah.
Would you? But
No, no, of course
I
not.
showed
Let
you
me tell
guys
you
the
something.
video. Hold on one second, Lisa. I showed you guys the video of Stavros driving with a jacket over his head. It's not like he was the most cerebral person. So the
No.
fact that Paris was considered beneath them, or trash as they called it, and they embarrassed the Hiltons was insane. But guys,
But
I did
Kat,
a video. Hold on one second, Corey. I did a video. Lisa, can you mute for a second?
Okay.
Um, I did a video the other day that I was extremely proud of. I don't know. I might even re-release this video. It took me like 4 hours worth of just like deep dive and research. It was called "Is Rena evil or a good actress?"
she evil.
Y'all watch this video.
That heifer
It
can't
She
act. She
evil.
evil.
She evil.
video is
I.
only like maybe like 12 minutes,
It's a good
but
one too.
I found out a lot of stuff about Rena, and there's even more, but I need that video to get some traction. So if you guys have not seen Is Rena Evil or a Good Actress, go and check it out.
It's
I'm
good,
actually
guys.
proud of that video. I
It's
re-recorded
good.
that one 5 times. So
It's
check that one
really
out.
good.
Thank you guys for coming up on the panel. I really do appreciate this. Um, and I'm doing Beverly Hills tomorrow like I normally do. I'm trying to get a couple people to do it with me, maybe Really Be. And Karen Huger's wig, we might do some type of a collab. Check him out. Check
I
out Really
love him.
Be. Corey, do you and
Yeah.
Lola do y'all review Beverly Hills?
We don't do an actual review. What we do is we just give us quick synopsis on our hot topics. We've been sick this past week, so we haven't really been doing anything. But we may come on tomorrow night, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, because I want to try to see y'all, Cole, because I love your Lord be tripping me out.
Thank you. We love you too, Lily.
Mhm.
But we have
Now,
been really sick.
oh, thank you so much, Rebecca, for the super sticker. I appreciate that.
Who put my
Um,
picture up there?
So whenever people ask me about Lovable Lisa, I tell y'all that I was one of her first subscribers. This was from a year ago when Lisa was still doing her reviews. Uh, that's how long I have been following and supporting Lisa. So
We love
guys,
Lily.
thank you. I will see you for chapter 2 and 3 on the next one. Be on the lookout. Sometimes it might be live, sometimes it might be pre-recorded, sometimes I might have a friend up here with me. But if I do it as a pre-record, I will definitely do it as a premiere so that you guys can chat with each other. And I'll probably be in the chat too, chatting with you guys.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank
y'all.
you.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. Y'all know the Queen
Are
of
you going to tell them
Country
to
Ride
like
today.
the video? Is that what you're going
I
to tell
already
Like
them?
did
the
that. I
video.
already liked it, baby. That's
Like and
because you know
subscribe.
what?
Hit that
Y'all know
bell.
y'all know the Queen of Country died today. I was a big Cruella Lynn fan. I was, cause I
Who?
used to watch on
Loretta Lynn.
TNN.
Who?
I did.
Loretta
I used to
Lynn.
watch it. I used to
Oh
watch it.
Oh no,
yeah,
I don't know.
but she
You
was
don't know Queen
90.
Lynn, the coal miner's daughter.
What's Corey's channel? Oh, Loretta Lynn. I do remember, but I didn't know her like that. Corey's
Yeah, I
channel
know
is
her. Like
Lola
I know
Lane,
her, but
right?
I'm gonna tell you
Yes.
something. She was first one of the first gutsy women
Now,
of
Lily,
music
when
industry.
we can't do it. It has to just be about the book. We're turning over a new leaf. We are staying on topic on the Make It Make Sense channel. We're staying on topic.
Good luck with that.
There's no
I
luck.
just want to say,
This is
make she rest in peace. Because she was part of, because she,
peace.
back in the
Yeah.
day, she was part of
All right.
And
Well, I'm
the
y'all
gonna let
like the
you go,
video.
Bims.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Rebecca, for the super chat, and I will see you. Thank you, Nana, the celebrity. Maybe Nana will come up with me when Jolene does. Good night, y'all.
Night, night.
Good
night.
Everybody go to
Thanks,
sleep.
ma'am.
Everybody go to sleep. Love you, baby.
All
Let me
right.
y'all.